Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the new Formula Roblox League off-season NASCAR oval racing events. A lot has happened since we last went on air. Much controversy, much disqualifications, new champions crowned, but all that is wiped away. Because in between the two great Formula Roblox seasons of 9 and 10, oval-based events will now go live and unedited for you in Formula Roblox League. My name is Gus the Goose.
And I am Tash Namash, today's co-host.
And it's been quite a process to get this event going, so I first want to thank all of the officials, map makers, and everybody who helped get this going on such short notice.
Of course, at the moment, the leagues are in a split. This is FRL Nascar or FRLN. So we don't watch FRL live tomorrow. Definitely don't watch that stuff, or don't even participate in that, because this is the better league right here. We're racing at Auto Club, and it's a bit different compared to FRL live. Of course, no collisions, and primarily racing like how FRL does traditionally. So it's sort of from Nagoya 125, but pretty much around the world on all the racing tracks you can imagine, like Auto Club, Indianapolis, etc.
We hope that you join us for all these great tracks, inspired by the real amazing tracks of the world, and also including the prestigious Nagoya 125 event, a Triple Crown event in which every single driver wants to win once. You join us in practice as the drivers shuffle in. We had a slight issue with the ROBLOX server getting up for drivers in certain regions. It appears to have rectified itself now, and everyone is shuffling in. Lots of new liveries were right on board with the 69 machine of the Lozado's Essential Racing team, who had a very scrappy, strong debut in Division 2 West last season. Funny Group Racing also hopes to continue the momentum, as well as their new secondary team, Scuderia Gruppo Divertenti. Forgive my pronunciation. I am not Italian. I am American, as is this track, a track which, to tell the truth, exists more here in Roblox than it does in real life due to ongoing reconstruction efforts. We also have the Manti team dropping their familiar yellow and green Jordan livery for those inspired by a certain animated feature. They have a red, green, and blue variant, a 95, a 43, and an 86 T-Jerk here on the 86 green Chick Hicks inspired machine.
And at the moment, I think we are about 2 minutes away from qualifying. At the moment, Twitter seems to be 34.1. I'm pretty sure how qualifying works the same as does in Nagoya. I think Slipstream is on for the qualifying. So we should be having some sort of tactics deployed by the 3-car teams and the 1-2-car team to help the draft and help get a better result in qualifying. Of course, it really doesn't matter, but it's good practice for the race, which is going to be very interesting. First race outside of Nagoya around an oval track in FRL. And I think the first time we're, well, not really officially racing, but unofficially racing on a real life track.
This is the first time that we will race in a real track. I believe that there are fictionalized sponsors across the board. We do apologize if any of them still resemble their real-life counterparts. We do not claim any association or partnership with the real brands that would actually be portrayed there in this track in real life. There are 6 teams fielding 3 cars. That was the original plan. These teams are Manti, Hendrick, Lizados Essential, Funny Group Racing, Lagwar, Stella Corsa, and, as mentioned, Gruppo Divertente, Funny Group Racing's secondary team. To make it an even 20, an additional team was added that only runs 2 cars, the 7 and the 8 of Arcade Racing by GTG. And I have absolutely no bias when I grow to mention that team. The apron is probably going to cause a lot of issues today because it's very tempting in these Roblox oval type games to really dip below your wheel onto the oval, but it's quite discouraged in this particular game with some intense slowdowns, especially depending on where you are in the track. So it's going to be all about getting as close to that white line as possible without overextending because it ruins your lap almost immediately.
I believe in NASCAR terms, that's hurricane or hugging the inside line as tight as you can. But we're not here for NASCAR stuff. This is an open real league. However, at the moment, I'm pretty sure we should be going green for qualifying soon. At the moment, drivers are still getting their laps in. You can see the times right there. Kuan Gizmo currently P2, a tenth off T-Jerk. T-Jerk is somehow in this flat track a tenth above everyone, a tenth and a half actually. Not sure how he's pulled that off so far, but of course it's only practice.
When Division One just before it went off air, I believe I said that T Jerk is probably one of the all-time great qualifiers in this league in this sport, and it looks like he's carried that onto the ovals in the normal FRL league. He now has, if my numbers are correct, the third most pole positions of any driver in history, and he's not far away from being the absolute most. He's ooh, that was a funny time to go on board with him. He goes into the wall, but we are in practice, so if there's any time to do that, it's now.
Yeah. Very interesting though how he's managed to go that fast, tenth and a half ahead. Hyperboss just tied P2, Kuan Gizmo for P2 right there. A tenth and a half off T-Jerk as well. I believe there's a bit of delay in qualifying. We should be going green for that soon. Till then,
We were given a 2-minute warning not too long ago.
yeah,
I've got of course, my spotter's guide does not have the emergency reserves because there are quite a few emergency reserves taking part in this session. Unlike normal FRL, a team is allowed to run different colored liveries across one team, and that also includes the key color highlight mark, which is so useful on the timing tower to your left-hand side of the screen. So we will be trying our best to keep track of what team and what driver is part of what. Funny Group Racing is running a tribute to a certain team that just had their boss fired in another sport.
wonder for what reason.
So is their junior team also running to that junior team's tribute. Some have said it's on the nose. I say it's actually a pretty nice tribute livery myself, and they will be hoping to use the three-car teams, as mentioned before, to get a slipstream in qualifying if that is on like Nagoya. When we saw Nagoya, we saw rather farcical scenes, I'll say, of all the drivers stopped on track with just a minute left to go in qualifying. And only one driver actually made the flag on that day for the final run in qualifying because everyone was so late. All it takes is that one driver that says, I don't care if I don't get the slipstream, I'm going, and then it all goes to bits. With these team strategies, however, which are stronger than in Nagoya, the teams are more founded, we'll say, we probably see drivers taking turns being the slipstream. And we've just gotten word that we will be starting the actual qualifying session too. And it looks like, as it stands, T-Jerk will top practice from XR3 and Kuan Gizmo.
And at the moment, yep, you can see the checkered flag dropping now. We are about to have the intermission before the first qualifying session for this new brand of racing.
There is plenty of time to decide who is the best in this sport, but only one person can be the first at something. So it's time to see who will be the first pole sitter in the Formula ROBLOX League NASCAR Oval off-season event.
And we start now. 10-minute qualifying has begun. And as all the drivers get off of their pit stalls, it's a new exciting venture. And we're about to head out of the pit lane.
Little Birdies has told me Slipstream is off in qualifying, so this will be a more traditional FRL-style qualifying, probably after the aforementioned farcical scenes that we saw. I believe it was at the Nagoya 125 earlier this year.
Nagoya has had a very tumultuous history of some controversies, especially I'm pretty sure the third or fourth running of the Nagoya 125, where we saw someone cheat in an oval. uh, for the race win, and eventually it was figured out that yes, he was cheating. We won't mention him. But yeah, Carson won that one despite finishing second in that race because of that cheating scandal. But yeah, it's very interesting, the history of Nagoya, but it is very, very entertaining. We've had many,
As we have a moment before
yeah,
all the times flood in, the subject of unscrupulous racing behavior has been much the talk of the offseason, particularly in Division Two East. Two
oh
more
yes,
drivers have been disqualified for improper identification. In other words, they were pretending to be someone they were not. In return, the champion switched a few times. Tu Chelvam is now the champion Division Two East.
yeah, congrats
Kit
to
Kat
him.
had it for a bit, and a few more drivers in Division Two West got points as T-Jerk once again tops the time. I've been told low 34s is what we're probably expecting to see. If someone's an absolute qualifying oval god, they might just break into the high 33s. So I've been told that's going to be very difficult, especially since many of these drivers are not familiar with this unique style of racing. Oval racing in FRL is not like FRL racing, and it's really not like oval racing anywhere else, in Roblox or otherwise. We're right on board with the 86 machine of T-Jerk from Antar.
I'm pretty sure mouse steering will be extremely key in this form of racing. And I'll really be surprised if anyone isn't running mouse steering because it's just more precise, just more feel of the car through very fast corners. So I believe Teacher's probably running that. That's my best guess. I think he has a green first sector at the moment. Of course, it doesn't really matter here, but it, it's the way we measure time between the laps, and at the moment it's a red. Oh, I think we're on a bump as well, so it's not going to be faster. I'm not sure, but Hyperboss as close in 300s of T-Jerk right there. You see, as they all go back to the pits.
Another driver that benefited much from the post-race disqualifications, and a driver who quite fancies his chances on an oval, is Charles Leclerc, that's currently sitting in 7th place. Ran very well in previous oval events that we had, and without knowing it, had been scoring points all season based on the now edited results. Couldn't finish the Buenos Aires Oval Challenge last time. He rode on an oval, but was running very well there and fancies his chances. Currently, is a reserve driver for this team, currently running in 8th, as Code Bacons jumps up to 7th.
Charles Leclerc best. Somewhat of an odd nickname to have, but I think he's sort of an oval ringer as opposed to a road course ringer. Despite this being a
XR3 takes provisional pole.
Yep. And that's actually a really fast time, 34.1. It's nearing what Teacher did in practice. So Teacher has competition.
We are counting the statistics for this sport separate from FRL, but definitely there are some teams that are in both. And that team, Lozados, I believe they've never been on pole position in any format. So, and they're keeping a relatively consistent lineup of relationships there. XR3 and Hamza are new to that squad and currently sits on provisional pole. Let's see if anybody can challenge that time.
XR, a very veteran driver in this league, racing since about season 2, season 3. He's come very far, and at the moment he sits pole. He's not usually the person that wins, but he's certainly very competitive, a top 5 driver usually on his day. So interesting to see him on pole for this race so far, as we're
already seeing
way.
some drivers come to grief with the edge of the track. You'll notice the chat in the bottom left hand of your screen is filled with people saying they lost time at all the various parts of the track. The racetrack has no allies. It is probably the least biased thing in this entire stream.
Auto Club is a very interesting track. You barely see any of these type of tracks now in the NASCAR or IndyCar calendar. Last time it was Michigan on the IndyCar calendar, which was anything like it because it's a 2 mile, uh, 2 mile motor speedway or speedway, I should say. So these type of tracks are rarity nowadays, and an Auto Club, especially since it's gone, it's pretty much Michigan left on the calendar that's anything like it. So it's a very interesting track.
I'm not sure where it is, but I believe if we continued following Going Me Chris and he was on this track in real life, he would be approaching a giant hole right now.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right there in front of the grandstands. I think there's just a massive hole there in real life.
Gonna love a
Man,
booming
15
real
jumps
estate
up to
market.
10th.
And right now, 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in qualifying. That's a really interesting line from going to Chris. However, he is on a green's first sector. Let's see it here.
Interesting line. Probably one of the all-time great backhanded compliments of racing commentary.
Yes. Oh, he's a bit wide. In the wall
Oh,
spectacularly. Wow.
into the wall goes going me, Chris. Assuming his
And
spine is still together and his
Jesus.
rib cage, then he can continue. Though having a shattered rib cage did not stop Takuma Sato at the 500 this year.
Hasn't stopped many drivers. Hasn't stopped Zanardi somehow in life. He lost his legs, I'm pretty sure, in a maybe not accident here, but definitely in an oval accident. That's how this type of racing is. Very dangerous, very brave people. Uh, Hopefully they have adapted some of that
Unfortunately,
in
I mean, Chris,
this.
I think he was on a good lap. He might have taken
Ooh.
pole with it. He was on 15th.
XR is, I think, ooh, he's taking the high line here for his outlap, I believe. Or no, he's just taking that line for fun. Uh, oh, and Gio out of
Gio
nowhere.
goes on the provisional pole. Funny Group Racing looking to make some grounds
And
in
with
this qualifying session. Currently running first, 7th, and 4th.
3 minutes to spare as well, that's a bit of a shocker. Now people have to step their game up. And Hyper as well, by 15 milliseconds, has gained pole.
It is
Everyone's coming
a...
fast.
There's so many blue cars. I gotta check my spotters guide. It is a Funny Group Racing 1-2 right now. 1-2-5.
Yep, and it's all in a very close bubble as we expected in this type of qualifying session. 1500s is pretty much 15 milliseconds, sorry, is pretty much 1500s on a normal track. So that's how far the gap really is. But I believe at the moment, 2 minutes to spare. There's still a lot to play for.
And Pifting has been sitting around 10th place for a while. I've seen them abort quite a few laps now. I don't think they're quite happy with the line they're taking on this track. Their teammate Baduk that sits down in 13th. Currently, the back of the field is Koyezilla in 14th, only half a second off, which is a lot in racing terms, but half a second is not a lot in measurable time terms. So it's very tricky to... Where do I make that time up? They're definitely going to keep trying. Hyperboss on provisional pole from teammate Geo XR3 maintains their position in the top 3.
That first sector, that tells me that Hyper has pretty much had all his time in these first two sectors. Maybe he can improve here. If he can,
That
he
wall
can
right
great.
there.
Yeah.
That wall right there coming down to the main straight. That's going to be it has been and it will continue to be a problem area for those drivers just trying to be
Smikos
that little bit too brave.
green first sector, Kuhan on a green second sector, Smikos on two green sectors. Is this going to be a position gain for any of these drivers? So Smikos is he's completely binned it. Yeah, two green sectors,
Oh,
completely frustrated with himself right there. He knew that was a good time.
now we're going to get a mad scramble out of the pits. There is still enough time to get around this oval and set a lap, but there will definitely be some talks of possibly impeding. I'm not sure how the rule system works. I'm under the assumption that in case a rule is not deliberately written for this league, that we are falling back on the standard
There's a driver
FRL
stopped.
rules. Ooh, we have an arcade racing
And that is for
car,
that's
the number 8.
disconnection, maybe. Could be disconnection. In qualifying, that's what we expected, that's all. But now, 10 seconds left. The checkered flag will fall soon. Let's see who can get their laps in. Michael's just barely. I don't think the car behind him can. I don't know who was that. I think it was Zilla. No, I have completely
I
lost
think
it.
it was Leclerc Best, I believe.
Oh no, he's still
Who
on the track. He
Just
still made it.
just made it, barely.
Let's see who can improve.
All right.
Oh, a red sector. Everyone. Oh, Leclerc.
Last chance to take this sport's first ever pole position.
Oh, what is this line? What is he doing? I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's see. He's still going to cross the line.
Commit
Maybe he can
stays out of the
improve.
wall, rides below the apron. He will take the
Ah,
flag. Does not improve. 11th place.
That was really impressive. Michael, as you can see right there, purple third sector. He added it, and maybe if he could just have the right sectors, he might have got at least the top three. But Hyper Boss, that lap he said about 2 minutes to go in the session has helped him into pole position. And
Yep, and
that
it looks
does
like
that.
the arcade racing by GTG car is not moving the number 8 machine in the team's debut race. So
That is very unfortunate. He might be. I don't think he's disconnected or he's just AFK. It doesn't seem like he's disconnected.
sits in 13th. Another change from
Oh,
FRL. Oh, he is moving.
so that
Another
was
change from
confusing.
FRL is probably had to go to the bathroom or something. It happens. It happens. Points down to 13th in this as opposed to the points down to 12th that standard FRL uses. And now everyone will line up on the grid. We're going to see what sort of tires they're using. We have the standard suite of FRL tires. We're on 2 times tire wear. The last FRL season used 3.3 times. Each track will have its own tire wear rate. And we are ready to get racing now. This is the moment that everyone's been waiting for. Who is the king of the ovals? Who can take the high line, the low line, and take victory lane?
And we are green and Aura Club. Hyper gets off very cleanly off the start. Everyone does. Let's see. Heading down to turn one. Who is going to gain the time? And the Red Bull, sorry, not the Red Bull, the Funny Group Racing cars 1, 2 currently heading into turn 2 and out of it. XR is falling a bit back there, you can see. Going to be Chris, trying to get a Funny Group 1, 2, 3 here. As lap 1 has been done halfway. XR is a bit wide, you can see right there as well. Going to be Chris trying to gain time on him. And Hyper maybe just about will lead the first lap. Yes, he does.
Going Chris trying to make it a Funny Group Racing 1, 2, and 3 as they push forward, but XR3 is
Look
not
at
going to make that
XR.
easy. XR3 is pushing forward, takes second place and attacks Hyperboss.
And it's now 1, 3, 4 for Funny Group Racing. Very fast cars, but this machine of XR is not going anywhere from the lead right now. Look at his lines, a bit different, trying to take that late apex sort of ordeal. May not exactly work out. Going to be Chris has a huge moment. He has to step out of it. And Hyper will lead another lap. Oh, and Bacon's
Cars all over the racetrack. 2 cars did not make the start, Badukdat and Hamza Legend.
So DNF's already in this race as XR is a bit wide again. And in the wall actually. So what will be important here is to keep within this draft. That's the first thing. And if there of course will be green flag stops, so you need to be more wary of that. How your strategy is going to work out, and if you have friends in this race or not. Currently, Funny Group Racing are the favorites in that because they have 3 of the cars right there in the lead as Bacon's is fighting the 3 of them.
The top 4 pulled a decent gap at the beginning. Now the rest of the started to reel them back in, and now another gap is forming. This time, the top 5, top 6, almost. Well, now Coach Bacon's is falling back into the clutches of their teammate Smykos in an effort to get them back with the front. The Funny Group Racing cars, as well as their sister team with Kuhan Gizmo, currently leading the way. Oof, indeed, as they cross another line to start the 5th lap.
So, currently 5 laps of the 90 done. At the moment, it is a very dominating show so far from Funny Group Racing, as they are currently 1 to 3. But these other drivers, one team drivers almost at the moment, because their teammates are nowhere to be seen. In this front pack, they still have to sort of form an alliance together maybe to fight these guys, because later on we have seen in Nagoya, you need partners, you need dancing partners for drafting. Otherwise, you get
some big gaps starting to form. Apologies. Some big gaps starting to form in this field already. Particularly, Man Pifting seems to be really leading a field from the rear, trying to get back up to that front pack. Everybody
And
on the medium tire, Coach Bacon on the soft.
that will be interesting. Bacon's on the soft, that will be really interesting because no one is going with him so far on that tire. So he might be all alone here when he pits. And he'll have to try to get a draft from lap cars. So it's going to be decisive for him so far. At the moment, that dyno machine is almost heading into the lead as he does. Yes, we'll take the lead away from Hyper so
Wuhan
far.
Gizmo has fallen backwards. They've had a keyboard failure, it seems, and they're trying to get that
Oh,
sorted again. And like they're also having some kind of connection issue now with their two teammates in the Funny Group Racing sister team, Gruppo Divertenti.
and this pack right here, a threesome between Teacher and Drifting and Pax. A bit far off from the lead pack, but if you go on board with them, that's you can see the gap right there. I don't think it's in slipstream range per se. Yeah, it's barely in slipstream range. You have to really work hard for that to get back up there. At the moment, though, shuffling in the lead pack, it's very single filed out now, very spread out compared to the lap 1 chaos. And we soon head lap 9, so we'll be 1/10 done with the race.
At that point, that's where you guys start thinking about the strategy. What sort of strategy do you plan on using to possibly get back? The track is large enough, and from what I've been told of the pit stop delta, you can make a pit stop without automatically going an entire lap down, for instance, in most cases. So there is some room to play with that. Everyone on the medium tire, we'll see who tries to stretch it out and who just keeps coming in for tires to go maximum pace.
Meanwhile, we'll have our sponsors BC on the board, mainly in turn 3 and turn 4. Shout out to Lionel Racing, well, the off-brand maybe, Coca-Cola and other our other associates. Very important.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Not-
Yeah, not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Coach Bacon and Hyperboss are trading positions. Hyperboss's teammates, Gio and Going Me Chris, have started to fall back a bit.
There's lap traffic up ahead. You can see right there, if you're going with the Bacons, that's Francisco. The land racing
Francisco.
driver, see? Their first Stella Corsa.
Francisco having some trouble on the start. They started on the hard tire. I believe they're the only one to do so. I think they had a bit of a scruffy start, so we'll see how this goes. It's hard to get out of the way for blue flags. I don't know. I'm not sure what the blue flag type rules are like in NASCAR.
I'm not sure. Well, blue flags in oval racing usually means you don't have to let the guy pass. It's just that the leader is coming or faster car is coming. So that's usually the ruling in oval racing. However, FRL traditionally, of course, has followed the F1 style ruling where you have to give up your position if you're getting lapped. So I think Francisco.
To my knowledge, the blue flag rules for our previous oval events that we've had in FRL is that you don't have to get out of the way until the last few laps. I forget the number. I think it's 15. Don't quote me on that.
Very interesting form of rules, but at the moment you can see Francisco. He is first driver to get lapped in this race. The first FRL NASCAR driver to get lapped ever.
Hopefully they can come back stronger in this. The Fun Group Racing cars are starting to recover speed a bit, and challenge Code Bacon's definitely one of the big people pushing forward with this event, taking part at all. Their teammate Smikos around the outside. Francisco running high in the background, getting out of the way of the Lozados of XR3. T-Jerk will be the next to catch them. Definitely the redundancy term to use in the FRL is certainly slip race. But this has a unique quality of a slip race because usually slip race tracks have very long lap times. And this oval does not. So that definitely changes the dynamic, especially in terms of the tire strategy on what's going to happen.
And Schmeikos in that beautiful 95 car that works pretty well on this as a livery. Very good car that he's running. And at the moment, he will challenge for the lead. As Bacon's, I'm pretty sure he'll feel the effect of these softs very soon.
Slightly offsetting that soft tire wear, thankfully, with the strong slipstream. You see they keep shuffling to the front, and they'll probably keep shuffling backwards. I don't know if they're fighting the slipstream here. as the cars buffet and stutter their way around
Look at
the
the
banked turn.
variation
Every
in
turn's a
lines
banked
right
turn.
there. All the medium burners pretty much run different lines. Very interesting to see because they won't see that on their screen. It's a bit further and back, of course, 2/10 or so. But when you're fighting other cars as a driver, but yeah, it's very interesting to see how the variations are. Sort of like the ghost car in NASCAR qualifying or now F1 qualifying.
And IndyCar just got it. Revolutionary
Oh
technology
yes,
from years ago.
love you,
They're
Fox.
very proud of it too.
Love you, Fox Sports. Anyway, oh, Michael's on the wall, and that's a huge
Oh,
time loss.
smack
Will he
off.
stay in the draw? That's the sort of that's the sort of time loss you don't want at this type of racing.
Mention a major American broadcasting network. Send a driver into the wall. We'll try not to do it again, as XR3 is now challenging Smykos. Good news for XR3, getting a bit more of a slipstream boost to hopefully rejoin that lead pack, and that seems to be what be happening. Smykos is reattaching himself to the field, but bringing XR3 with him.
And as XR is trying to overtake Michaels, you can see him up the wall as well. And he just brushed it, so he's lost a bit more time. You don't want to get out of the draft. Let's see the gaps here. I think they are all pretty much safe. XR is also safe. But he's actually now giving slipstream to Teager behind there, who was the top practice. He is now slowly reeling this lead pack in. That's really interesting to see Teager getting back in this race, or at least getting some time. Oh, but there's a bit of a leaderboard malfunction.
XR3 following very well, but it seems to get in the middle, kind of late corner exit phase. They seem to always lose touch with the car that they're following, and then sort of settle back into a rhythm here without slipstream, or without a major slipstream anyway. 1 second or more or less ahead of Tedrick behind in the Manti. The other Manti cars running fourth and third as it stands, running tributes to a certain animated film where motor vehicles talk to each other.
Yes.
Branding the badge
It's
of the
planes.
Piston Cup on their nose.
It's
Who will
planes.
race
The
at the
movie.
Piston Cup Raceway someday? Who knows?
He did one in this cup. Anyway, he's coming for the lead now as Hyper and Gio have to fend him off. Bacon is falling a bit back now. You can see him slowing a bit by bit, but he's keeping in there. Very conservative, or at least very safe driving. He hasn't brushed up the wall as much because he knows that if he does that, the time loss will be very detrimental. And
Francisco, who was a
getting
lap
up
down,
again. Who was he?
they just came out of the pit lane. They just entered. Sorry,
Oh.
American Sport. They just entered pit lane. I mean, they're at the back of the field anyway. You might as well try something. Get some kind of tire delta. Do something rather than nothing, because you're in this race anyway. You're in the position. They're in 13th, so they're going to get a point if they finish most of this distance. So I understand why they're just trying different things. Early kind of reactionary pit stops from the back of the field don't traditionally work well in FRL. We saw that with a driver like Miggs and Lukoff in Division 2 West this season, who absolutely struggled after making a lot of pit stops. Went on a more traditional strategy in how long and had a much cleaner race. But unfortunately, it seems Francisco has timed this wrong and is now just being unleashed right back into the field.
Oh, he's completely slowed down the whole, did he? What is he doing? Oh, that's interesting.
Getting out of the way, I guess.
Oh, he's in the pit again? No, he's
Going back into pit lane.
He's doing donuts. He's won this race.
Okay, so
well, he's trying to bring on a course.
I don't know if he's gambling. I think he's just messing around now.
Well, that's very interesting from him, but at the moment, it's a funny group racing. 1, 2, 3. Officially, I think for the first time, maybe.
That sounds correct. Yes, for the first time, the Funny Group Racing team fills all three top spots, led by Hyperboss, who definitely seems to be, of that team, the one definitely more in control of this race. He's had the least adventures of anybody in terms of position change.
Look at the runs Michaels gets from hanging a bit back. That's going to be key on the final laps on the final laps of this race, as is in any slip race. You have to time yourself to get the best possible slipstream, and it's almost 3D chess. in a way. So that's really gonna help whoever figures that out.
From my analysis and memory, the overcut definitely the stronger strategy in a slip type race. To come out on fresher rubber and enter in the slipstream is better than just to come out on fresher rubber earlier. You can make it work the other way if everything's timed correctly, especially depending on the situation that your opponent's in. We have the first driver on the lead lap in pit lane. That's Guan Gizmo for Grupo Divertente by Funny Group Racing. They had the keyboard
24.
failure earlier in this race. We'll see if they go a lap down because I believe they're still on the lead lap.
Let's
This will be
see.
tight.
It's gonna be close.
They
It's
should
gonna be
have
close.
they should have the pace to come out ahead. And I just noticed that that team is running the number 8, even though I believe Arcade Racing is also running number 8. So that's out.
Two cars in. Bacon's and
Code
Tax.
Bacons and Tax on pit lane.
Tax is coming in sort of early, and Bacon's is coming in sort of late because those soft tires. I'm not sure if they were at that moment exactly, but Bacon's definitely felt that he had to pit at that time. Is going on the hard tires. XR is going to follow suit as well. That tells me Bacon's has really overextended his soft tires.
I do have to say he did a very good job with those soft tires. He didn't really look like he was ever
Ooh, XR.
in
Oh,
severe danger.
pit
Yeah,
boxes are
the
like
pit boxes are not quite placed intuitively.
we're
There
using
was
the
quite some issues.
All-Star race pit boxes. Anyway, as he comes out the pits, where he's gonna go with Bacon's is not that far off. I think he might maybe just barely slipstream range.
I'm curious what tires everyone's do. As Gizmo and Tax do go a lap down, and everybody who goes Bacon on the hards, straight from the soft to the hard, so they did a two compound jump. Gizmo and Tax remain on the medium tire, so they switched onto the same tire.
And let's see what the leaders will think. They're rounding up turns 3 and 4 right now. Are they going to pit? Funny Group Racing cars, I believe they can just go on as long as they like, because they're all together. However, Gio has brushed the wall, and he might pay dearly for it. I don't think he's going to fall that far back, but if he doesn't get his pits right, he may be out of this graph with his teammates.
A brief reminder to all of our viewers and FRL fans to please avoid joining FRL servers during active competition unless you are an official streamer or driver.
At the moment, lap 28. We are nearing 1/3 of this race. It's been interesting so far. Definitely the favorites to win are one of these Funny Group Racing drivers. However, Smikos is trying to spoil this party here. It's very blue versus red type. Liberal versus Democrat versus Republican, if you know what I mean, but we don't need to get political, of course.
Red and blue, I think is what you're talking.
Yeah.
Red and blue. A little bit of red, lots of blue.
And the white.
He's got red in his eyes as he attacks the Funny Group Racing cars, climbs up into second place, and sets his eyes on the rear wing of Hyperboss, but he just gets too close to that wall and loses the ground that he made up.
And at the moment, let's see where the drivers of pit are on the track. I wish I had the track map on. Should I quickly just switch that on? How do you?
I don't believe it's working.
Oh, okay.
I do not believe it's working for this new map.
Oh, well, that doesn't really matter because I think you could just kind of guess at the moment. So there. Oh, as I say that, all the drivers for Funny Group Racing are in.
Funny Group Racing triple stacking. Of course, they have their own pit stalls, but they are going with each other on strategy. So they're definitely doing a very coordinated system here. Smikos stays out and inherits the lead of this race. T-Jerk also stays out, making it a Manti 1-2. Manpifting stays out for Arcade Racing. Third.
Look at Bacon's where he's going to reach on. He's going to take the lead of this race. Maybe he stays in P2. And
And
he
considering the
has,
difference of that strategy, that's very good for Bacon's. Bacon's is on the hard tire. Everyone else around them will be on fresh mediums. So there'll probably be some pain to take now. We'll see if later on, if they can make that hard tire work. The Manti Hendrick cars are in. Smykos and T-Jerk on pit lane. Koyazilla is also in, but a lap down to the field. And to some of the drivers who are a lap down, these leaders pitting, it is a chance to get that lead lap back if that's a high priority. Man Pifting for Arcade Racing stays out and inherits the lead of this race.
would be very interesting.
XR3, meanwhile, who did pit already, has gone up to second place. There's a better tire delta behind, of course, but if it was about track position on the priority, that has worked very well for them.
So Man
Man Pifting owes the field a pit stop.
Yep. He is leading at the moment. First laps leading in this league. One of the drivers in D1 for sure. He's very on and off, a bit inconsistent, but he has shown his pace on the road courses. On the ovals, however, he is not that reputed. So it will be interesting
Definitely
how he
has
fares
a
in this race.
reputation to build on ovals, as does this brand new team, Arcade Racing. No bias there, of course.
No bias. Just short TV time, really. Anyway, we look at this pack. I think Gio is a bit far off compared to everyone else, to his teammates. But if he could work with Bacon's here, of course, Bacon's is actually a completely different pace so far compared to these guys. But I think Gio is struggling here. He's barely keeping up with Bacon, it seems almost.
Looks like Bacon's didn't really fight that. Just they've got the tire advantage. Got to use the slipstream. Bacon's on the hard tire. Got to use that slipstream to kind of pull them along on this very different strategy. We'll see if they can make it to the end. I think that is a lot, even for the hard tire.
So green
You can reasonably still make it around on track, but you'll have no pace by the end. But I've been proven wrong about the white wall tire before, many times in my my time commentating races. So anything can happen in racing, and that's why we love it so much. XR3 currently cutting through lap traffic.
Charles Leclerc does come from lap, and he didn't actually stop, so it's completely on him maybe, or if he's about to get lapped actually. Well, net lap as Man Pifting comes in for his stop. Finally, we'll rejoin. I think
Attempting a very distant overcut on the entire field. Some drivers getting lapped might get out of the way just by virtue of trying to avoid helping rival teams when getting lapped. You kind of see it happening there, trying to avoid giving the slipstream to that lead driver.
Oh, he's still ahead.
Their best, not part of group racing, but that team is part of that stable. But they are still rival teams, so we'll see how that dynamic works. In terms of slipstreaming, if there's some cheeky strategies there. But XR3 continues out in front. Looks like they got clean air ahead of them.
And at the moment, lap 37, almost halfway in this race. You've had some
Funny for racing cars attacking XR3.
Really scrap racing so far, as XR is in trouble a bit here. These different strategies, although XR and all these guys are almost on the same strategy. Bacon's right now, actually, I think he's struggling. Look at that, he's almost on this lead pack. So, this could be a bit disastrous if he doesn't work this out somehow. He's on the hard tires. I'm not sure. It doesn't show how old the tires are, but I'm certain they're on their half-life pretty much. And as compared to the mediums, they're nearing to the midpoint of their wear.
XR3 acting as kind of a bizarre pick in this fight on the very different tire delta, using the slipstream to get forward, and then the inferior tire delta causing them to fall back, sort of seesawing between these two packs and slowly bringing them closer together. Smykos definitely the one who's going to want to use that to get back up to Hyperboss. Hyperboss once again back in control of this race, out in front, giving slipstream to a lot of people, friends, foes, and people possibly who are perhaps both. We call them teammates.
currently looking like Forrest Gump when he was running up that mountain. Hyperboss leading a 7-10 gap to all these drivers behind. And at the moment, XR is XR and Smikos, actually Tidrick as well. So three foes, yeah. Who are in that pack trying to catch up to him, and they have already, it seems, 5 tenths back. They're gaining bit by bit, but it's really impressive how Hyperboss is faring so far with that gap.
The pit wall says run, Hyper, run, and who knows he could buy with the money that he gets on Winner's Circle. That is, of course, fictional money. There are no rewards for winning in FRL except the honor of crushing all of your opponents in glorious battle. But the Forrest Gump reference writes itself. But will this victory write itself as T-Jerk now attacking the leaders?
Of course, winners purses was very integral to American racing. Very integral part of the broadcast on the races. Not as much as in European or F1 types, but yeah, very interesting part there to mention winners purses, or basically a prize pool. As Michaels and T-Jerk attacking the two Honey Group racing cars.
Two anti-teammates in red and green attacking the familiar livery Funny Group racing cars at the front. It's a 2 versus 2 right behind them. Geo and XR3 battling away to try to catch this lead pack and possibly get a piece of that victory. Hyperboss continues to lead out in front from going to Chris, then T-Jerk and Smikos. They will now take the line, diving below down on the apron, trying to make some kind of grounds in this race. We're seeing that familiar slip race type appearance that we see in other races. The difference, of course, between this slip race and the ones we've seen in the rest of FRL is the way these cars drive. It's difficult to describe it. As you want to go flat out and take the corner on full left, which is very difficult because the car will constantly trying to drift slowly out to the wall. This means you need to be quite creative with which lane you use. So you're seeing drivers, that's why they're not really just conforming to one line. They're always side by side, it seems, as XR3 is starting to fall out of touch again with the lead pack.
And the Banzai cars versus the Funny Group cars at the moment. Two teams emerging from this smoky battle. Bacon's, the car that's really missing from that fight, currently P7. Best of the rest almost at the moment with those hard tires. He has fallen back to the Scuderia Gruppo Divergente cars. So at the moment, he's currently in an Italian mob fight. As there's been triple shuffles very weirdly. Yeah, that lead pack is really interesting. Very big fight at the moment as we are halfway through this race. Kuhan pits.
Kuhan Gizmo on pit lane again. We'll see what tire they switch to in an effort to make up some ground after their keyboard failure earlier on. They were running with the lead packs in that Visca branded car. The other two Visca branded cars attacking Code Bacons, but I believe they're not on the same lap. So Code Bacons kind of holds the fastest lap of this race, but somewhat struggling for pace as it stands right now. We'll see if they can come back later with the tire strategy.
And Kuhan just about stays ahead on the lead lap. So goes behind, right actually behind him, I think. Yeah, pretty much. They might be doing. Oh, what is going on there? Is that a disconnection?
Ooh,
that is a disconnection.
We have a Lozado stop on track.
And his DNF has disconnected from this race. Oh no. That's
if
trouble.
Tax and Lozados didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. The 30 car is out of this race after a very promising end to the Division 2 West season, and now they're out of this race as well. XR3 continues to run for them. Hamza didn't even make the start, I don't think. So XR3 now the sole remaining Lozados in this race.
And that's trouble for XR. He doesn't have any friends in this race now. He has to go with the flow with all of these guys. But he is so far back on this lead pack, I'm not sure he really can get into that top 5. at the moment. Still, this lead pack, amazing racing so far. I must say, they must be enjoying themselves despite the no collisions. Still insanely fun to drive like this. You can see going to Chris now having a huge run that he should time it for the latter half of this race into that last 3 laps or so zone. But yeah, really interesting to see these guys in the blanket.
We're now well over halfway through this race. We're on lap 49 now, lap 45, the halfway point in this 90-lap race, and some familiar faces out in front from the beginning of the race, and a lot of drivers who are now on their own without any teammates. That includes Man Pifting, XR3, and I believe Francisco is the only Stella Corsa car running in this race in that black and yellow livery car. Yes, I am correct in saying so.
Francisco gets lapped again as well.
The two Funny Group Racing founded teams, Funny Group Racing itself and Gruppo Divertente, still have all 3 cars running. Manti still has all 3 cars running, though one of their drivers is a bit out of sync with the other, trying a different strategy, running in 7th place, still with the fastest lap of this race, and I believe still on the lead lap. Last driver on the lead lap, I believe, is Man Pifting.
Peter hit the wall pretty severely in that last lap, but he's still in this race. I think this is a zone they're comfortable in because they're all on the medium tires. They're all almost with the same strategy, as you can see from that graphic. So I believe
XR3 is on pit lane.
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting. That's an undercut for sure. Trying to get back in that lead pack. But as I was saying,
Francisco's in pit lane again, a bit long in their box, but they do hit their marks quick enough. I'll be watching the left-hand side of the screen to see what tire they fit. It looks like they're staying on the medium tire. Oh, Gio into the wall.
Yep, pretty hard.
Hard into the wall goes to 23.
That is looking like a race over.
What did I say at the top of the top of the show? That wall would be a problem because you have to run so close to it to get a fast line.
He should have backed out there. He should have seen the danger. He didn't see the danger. And as I was saying, that there's a little more margin of error in this because they're on the same strategy. Gio has completely screwed himself up there, and that could be.
Suspect he might have lost control there for a moment for whatever reason, whether eyesight or controller, or maybe he just wants to go through that hole that's there on this track in real life.
Well, whatever is the case, he is going to pit now. He has decided to pit now, completely different from his teammates, who I don't think are coming in this lap. Hyperboss has fallen back as well. I didn't see that. I think he's also hit the wall pretty hard.
The seemingly perfect race starting to come undone for Funny Group. It's Manti who lead 1 and 2. T-Jerk and Smykos working together. At least for now, we'll see. We'll see later. Caution 2 single cars. Well,
I would prefer caution.
Thankfully, we have the fastest cleanup crew in all of racing. They're telepathic, instantly clean up all the mess.
Thank you to the AMR safety crew, as always, accompanying us to these races. Brilliant bunch of guys. I mean, they're sort of fictional. I mean, they don't really exist. They're like clankers. But yeah.
Ooh. Bold use of words on live racing television, my friend.
Hey, it's not outlawed yet. We could.
Not outlawed yet.
Yeah, it's like the TVs in the 60s. Right, well. Anyway, lap 55 of this 90-lap race. As I just bypassed this slur. It's currently 2 Manti cars versus 1 Funny Group Racing cars. It has completely devolved and had an advantage to Manti Racing or Manti Hendrick Motorsports. They have completely swung this race in their favor. As right now, the other 2 drivers for Funny Group Racing are nowhere to be seen.
At a certain point in this race, there were 7 cars separated by millimeters at the front of the field. Now it's just 3. Hyperboss falling out of sync Gio, of course, going into the wall a few laps earlier around the main straight, pitting, and now hoping to gain some ground. Next car up for Gio will be the battle between XR3 and Man 15, who keep swapping places on our screen. Of course, the timing tower does act a little strangely when the drivers take the timing line, so forgive any slight misgivings there. I believe Man 15 is running in P6 and is set to lap one of the Gruppo Divertenti cars again. All people who are in this race will get points. It's points down to 13th in this racing series. You still have to complete most of the race, so Tax and will not qualify point, despite running very well. Everybody still running will get points as it stands now.
At the moment, Bacon's a driver who's been silently running so far in this race. He has had very little luck with that strategy of his. At the moment, P5, he could have been there fighting for that lead, but at the moment, he's still on those hard tires. They've lost it pretty long. They've lost it 30 laps. I'm not sure how long it will go on, but I think
Gio is
he just
also on
has
the
no more
hards.
stopping.
Gio's going to try to go to the end.
Yeah, Gio's gonna. This very unorthodox strategy for Gio. So let's see how it works out. I'm pretty sure pit window's about a lap or so. That's probably about what 25, 30 odd seconds that you run in the pit, that you lose in the pit lane. So considering that and where Gio is at the moment, if he gains enough time, perhaps around to 22, or he's actually at 22 now, perhaps around 20 seconds from the leader, at least, then, well, actually, that's a bit of a timing glitch, never mind. Yeah, if he gains about 20 seconds or so to the leaders as the leaders pit,
The leading Funny
yeah.
Group Racing cars are coming into pit lane. Once again, the Manti car staying out, attempting an overcut. Bowman Chris hits his mark perfectly. See what tire? Back onto the medium tire.
Let's see what
Definitely
Gio is. He has to rejoin his
preferred
teammate
tire.
shortly. Otherwise, they might be too separated. He's currently drafting with Kuhan, so that umbrella of teams helping each other out as always. Hyper is he's a bit ahead. He lost less time than Gio, of course, when he made that mistake into the wall. So it's as expected. He's nowhere near his teammates, so he can't draft him.
The two Manti
That's-
is now in.
And Teacher takes the lead away from Smikos. Lap 61.
Looks
That
like
means
Teaser had a better stop.
yeah.
Where do they come out relative?
Going to Chris
To
has
the
overtaken
field.
both of them. That's how strong the undercut is, it seems. Maybe. So yeah,
Very
spread out
strong
is-
undercut on the age of tires they have. Code Bacon's XR3 Man Pifting once again stay out and inherit the front of this race. Now with that track position of Code Bacon's wants to do something different in strategy. Now would definitely be the time to start thinking about it, at least. They're going to stay out for a little bit, keep circulating, possibly give some slipstream aid to the teammates who are running at the front on the traditional strategy as Man Pifting comes in for their final stop.
I think Bacon's, if he runs, I hope there's no compound rule. If there is, it's going to be interesting. But I think Bacon's can pit now for mediums, and he's known to make them last. So if he picks mediums now to the end of the race, it's going to really help him out. Because at the moment he's losing too much time staying out this much.
Giving the slipstream to the teammates of T-Jerk and Smikos and Meta Racing. Excuse me for a moment. My throat does not agree, but I do. XR3 continues out in the lead of this race for Lozados. The Soul Lozados running. I believe they're in the number 69. Yes, they are.
And head down into turns 3 and 4 yet again. Well, we should compare this now more to IndyCar as the race is sort of playing itself. So, in real life, the last really good IndyCar race on oval that we had, apart from Texas 2022, I think, was at Auto Club in 2014, I believe. Very spectacular pack racing we had last time over there, and that led to a huge crash on the finish, on the start finish straight with Ryan Briscoe into that grass where he hit sort of a hole. That's interesting IndyCar trivia that we have for this track. Of course, primarily it ran NASCAR until its dying death, but it's a really special track. At first, very hated because it was an SMI owned track, and it sort of entered a time when it was taking away NASCAR's special dates. But eventually, it won over the hearts of fans, and the racing got really, really good.
Very
Um,
well said. A track with much history ongoing, but unfortunately not state in grace. Here, perfectly preserved in the world of Roblox racing, or row racing, to use the term that everyone likes to tongue-in-cheek spout. Out in front, it is T-Jerk leading from going course 2, Manti versus Funny Goop Racing, as it has been for most of this race. Has to be said, Smykos is a generally solid driver on road courses, but had some breakthrough moments in ovals in the off-season events throughout the year. Won on the oval status endurance challenge. Ended up second overall in that event from the road course results. So definitely Manti have a very strong lineup of drivers to understand. Code Bacons went on that different strategy, but still holds the fastest lap and still running near thereabouts the top 6.
at the moment, T-Jerk leading this pack of three cars, certainly very reminiscent of the Cars movie. The three lead-running drivers, mainly fighting for this race win. But really, there's one missing piece, and it's Bacon's at the moment for that, and he is slow. Yeah, he's coming in the pits. This will be his last stop of the day, and it will be
Let's see
really
what tire he goes on to,
interesting
mediums or
what
soft.
happens from now on. Kuhan Gizmo also comes in, so that is um Kuhan in, as you can see. Oh, giving some slipstream maybe to Bacon's right there at the end, but very
What
insufficient in
tire
the
did
day.
he go on to? That's going to be a big.
Yeah, I knew it mediums,
Going
and
into the
that
mediums, he will run all 3 compounds in this race. Comes out behind Charles Leclerc best on track, but they are on different laps. So if you want to use that tire delta, now's the time to do so. If the other drivers need to stop again, they'll definitely put him in a better position than he is now.
all right. So what Bacon has essentially done here throughout this race, very meticulously, I would say, he has cut out a stop completely from this race for him. Everyone else has to do one more stop, but not him. He can go on to the end pretty much on those tires, and that could really help him out here because he's well, if the timing system's right, I think he's about 29 seconds back of the leaders. So when he's 29 seconds back, that means that from now on, whatever timing gains, which he will, because he's on the medium tires, significantly better. It would have helped him more if he had draft, but that's beside the point because I think he does have it somewhat with those lap cars. However, it will be really interesting how the lead cars when they pit, they will when they will go and how they will come back. To gain the time back on Bacon's.
I'm keeping one eye trained on Geo as well into the wall, but they fitted the hard tire, most likely expressing the intention to not stop again. And they are close to a pit stop away from the leader. I think they need a bit more than what they have now to really come back out front, but they might be able to still make a few positions from where they stand now at the very least, if they're able to use that track position to their advantage if the drivers out in front need to stop again, which we are approximating that they do. 12 cars still running in this race, about 8, I believe, still on the lead lap, possibly 9.
I'm pretty sure Gio, well, he's pretty much gone rogue compared to his teammates. He has gone out for himself, and I think at the moment he is sort of in the net lead when these top three pit. And you get Gio in the lead, then Bacon's. but I think Bacon will fare better than Gio in this late race. I believe G, uh, Gio will be overtaken by Bacon's around lap 85 or so. I think he'll be behind him by then, maybe. It is a 10-second gap, though. It's going to be interesting how it goes on from here, but I think at the moment, we definitely should be focused on the top three because they are definitely mainly the leaders with that safe and quite meta strat.
Trading blows right now out in front. T-Jerk, Going Me Chris 2, and Smykos. Smykos seems to be the one who is still with this pack, but kind of rubber bands back and forth a bit more than the other two potentially, as they kind of get as low as possible to the apron, hug that inside, wash all the way out, catch the slipstream from the car in front, whether it's your rivals or the cars getting lapped. Try not to crack your voice like I just did, and continue on until you reach victory lane.
Oh, and a bit of a hang. Apologies, folks. Huge hang. Wow, that was a huge lag spike. We're still going. Thankfully, we have not lost.
Please forgive any technical difficulties we might have. FRL drivers come and commentators and streamers and hosts and officials come from all over the world, from all the different countries and all the different standards of Wi-Fi.
Yep, this is
so when they all come together, sometimes it does things that we're just not ready for, but we are still running.
It's like one of those moments in old IndyCar racing where the onboard broadcast would suddenly cut because of just how fast the car is. Still doing that, although we're not really on board. We're just the main TV.
I suppose now's a good time to talk about our not sponsor for today's race, Rust Ease, the finest medicated bumper ointment.
And
with just a little bit of Rust Ease, you too could look like Smykos. If that's what you want. That's up to you.
Credit Juan Bank as well will sponsor the white flag. I just made that up. Made a deal with them for $5. They gave me mid-race ads. I thought, you know what, why not? Even though I don't run the league, they can sponsor the white flag. Even in this series, they do in Nascar. So go to the bank and get a Juan or something. I don't know.
Yes. Beautiful stuff. We appear to have gotten back up to connection speed, and the drivers continue to maintain their speed out in front. Top three separated by less than a tenth of a second as it stands. And this is the part of the race that's sort of torture for these drivers. Because if they maintain what they're doing now, they're doing a good job, nothing's really going to change until the end of the race where they really have to attack each other. It's easy to get into a bit of a lull to kind of keep going, and then that's when you might make just a minor mistake that will get you out of the slipstream range. We saw this in the slick races in FRL this season, like Buenos Aires, where the pack out front slowly thinned, as it has been now. And this is definitely the race that all the drivers will say is boring to them, and perhaps it is, but you have to keep putting in those laps. It's all about consistency, to get those great rewards later. Hyperboss running 5th in the number 18 machine.
That's really interesting. He ran 2 green sectors in the purple sector last time, on that lap, sorry, and he didn't even get fastest lap, despite pretty much improving on the entire course. That's a really interesting.
I'm guessing Code Bacon has 2 purples then, or at least 3 very strong greens, as now he's coming up to the back of his teammate on the hard tire.
Yep, another help on Bacon's, and I think the gap to Gio. Let's see the gap to Gio. I think it's not enough. Bacon's. He said definitely not going to overtake Gio. Maybe this race is going to be really close. He has gained 5 seconds in about 8-9 laps, but there's 10 laps remaining now in this race. And those mediums will wear out faster than the hards of Gio. Currently, at the moment, you have to really just look at this lead pack and decide from there. I'm not sure if they're gonna pit another time. It doesn't seem like it. They might go to the end here, despite their very worn tires.
It's so you have to be. You can't be tempted to rely too much on the slipstream to bring tires far beyond their window, because it's devilishly hard to pit out of a slipstream race, because you're like, You're thinking to yourself, I'm giving up everything I have. But if these tires can't go to the end, that's just sort of the nature of it. And eventually, the wall will find you.
I believe that the leaders might go to the end here. It's going to be tough. When you are on, oh, TJ in the wall hard. Might be losing the draft here. Maybe I think it's observation enough. He's going to stay in it, but that's a costly mistake. He doesn't want to make that near the end of the race. But
The Grupo Divertente drivers are arranging a slipstream, it seems.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that these are very worn mediums for all top three drivers, and it's going to be interesting how they fare to these last few laps because it's going to be very worn and it's going to be very tricky. Certainly, like if any reference I have, then Kimi Raikkonen in 2005 in the Nürburgring, or like Lewis Hamilton from a couple of years back, 2020 in the British GP, where he was nursing home a very worn tire that eventually punctured. That's going to be the sort of state these guys are in compared to the drivers behind. And you can see how much you're getting if this timing is right. Yeah, Hyperboss has actually took out a huge time, 2 seconds in that last few laps, but I think he's in the wall. Clearly, he won't be able to catch up for the lead. He's going to get P4 maximum.
These tires, there is no official wear graph on FRO, but it is pretty well accepted they have a cliff point. That's a point on their wear where the pace begins dropping a lot faster than it had previously. I think the actual number on these drivers' screens, I want to say it's 50. Once you get to about wear point 50, tires will start letting you go. And on such an understeery track where you're really leaning into the steering wheel, trying your absolute best to make it round, eventually you will just drift high into the wall. We haven't seen that happen to these top three yet, but they got to be careful because the tire might feel fine now, but it does have another stage of horrible wear that you do not want to hit. I speak from experience on that front.
And 6 laps to go. Look at the lines from all these three drivers going to Chris. Certainly fared better than most of them. He's going to have a run on T-Jerk here, but Smykos, just because of the slipstream, how strong it is, he's going to come right back in there under a blanket at the moment. It's really close up there as Koizilla gets out the way. I'm pretty sure Gio has made a mistake or somewhat because I think he's so far back behind Bacon's. The running order of this race is completely all up for grabs behind P3. And at the moment, Hyper is taking a lot of time out, but it's not going to be enough. As this lead pack is closing up to the end of the race, it's XR Code Bacon's man 15 behind them, and Geo as well. But at the moment, this lead pack is really spicing up now. You can see Smykos a bit waiting back here, as here we go for 4 to go. 33 milliseconds across the line was the gap.
These lapped cars definitely being used as a variability here,
But now they're gone.
depending on where you catch them, where you slipstream them.
Clean air for all of them. No lap cars now.
And we see Gizmo asking Geo for the toe, despite technically not being on the same team, technically being on rival teams. They are both teams owned by Funny Group Racing, Grupo Divertente, and the
Smykos, huge bump. Huge bump for Smykos, 3 to go. He's going to be a bit far back. Now it's crucial to just stay in this and don't make a mistake. Going with Chris for the safe, you can see how he takes those lines. He's taking a late apex of sorts. Really good for the exits, as you can see here. Smykos, I think, hit the wall right there. Koizilla coming back in this race. And I think going with Chris has made a huge mistake. He's suddenly so far back. It's a 2-horse race
It's
now.
a battle between teammates. 2 teammates with very familiar liveries. Where have we seen this before?
2 to go. T-Jerk and Smykos. And very reminiscent to the Cars movie. Very tributing liveries. Head down into turns 1 and 2. Chick Hicks
Try to stay
currently
together.
leading.
Smykos is falling a little out of sync with his teammate, going to catch that slipstream down the back straight, reel him in again, but he's going to have to be with them round this next corner to make it work. He is. T-Jerk just seems to get the better acceleration as Koyezilla unlaps himself and gets relapped, of course. The blue
And
flag
now,
system.
white
Rush
flag
down to the
by
apron.
Credit One Bank. Smikos and
Talk us
T-Jerk.
home.
90th lap. It's been a long race. T-Jerk, I think, hit the wall right there. Really interesting line. You can see him using the apron a bit, and that might have just helped him. But Smikos has the rundown on the backstretch. This is going to get really tough now. Smikos is gaining so much. He's now under a tenth. Dives it
Can he
deep
do it
into
like he did in Buenos Aires?
Dives it deep into it. And now T-Jerk and Smikos, they head down to the start-finish line. The checkered flag is waving. T-Jerk, I think he'll get it. T-Jerk gets it by 66 milliseconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever winner of Formula Roblox NASCAR Oval Off-Season League race, T-Jerk Boy 1267 for Manti Hendrick Motorsports.
And going with Chris with a solid P3, very unfortunate how he had to get out of that fight. Hyperboss in P4. P5 is XR and P6 is Bacon's. And drifting across the line in 7th. Geo 8th, Kuhan 9th. There's about 10th. And the rest are lap cars. And that will finish it. What a race. A very photo finish. Very good photo finish. And very close 66 hundredths. Or sorry, milliseconds in the end.
There can be absolutely no doubt that for this first race, it is definitely Manti who was in control. 1, 2, and Code Bacon's on the strain strategy still came home for a P6 finish in front of Geo hit the wall. Going with Chris for Funny Group as the lead Funny Group racing car finishes on the podium. Hyperboss behind. XR3 gets a P5. Very strong result for the Soul Lozado's running. Manpifting came home in 7th for the first race for Arcade Racing. Gio was in 8th. Kuan Gizmo, Koizilla, and Charles Leclerc best. The 3 Grupo Divertente by Funny Group Racing cars, 9th, 10th, and 11th, all running together. And Francisco was 4 laps down, but still scores 2 points in 12th place. Tax did not finish this race, possibly due to connection issue. Badukdat did qualify, but did not feel well after the session and did not take the start. And Hamza Legend had a failure and also did not take the start.
And that rounds up the finishing order and this race in Auto Club. We'll see you next time for round 2 in Richmond next week, actually. So, double header. Yeah, we'll see you in Richmond. A short track coming up next. Thanks for having me. I'm Tash. And
I'm Gus the Goose, and I'll see you when Formula Roblox League NASCAR returns. Goodbye.